Okay, so there's been a big thing my entire life about my family kind of meddling in my life, trying to get into my house and the places I live, going off to college, Southern Oregon State College, University of Colorado, wherever, here, with the police judicial system, my father, over and over trying to break into my places. I'm sure for multiple reasons. One is to try to plant things on me, to lock me away in jail cells or mental institutions. For example, at 29, they sent a guy after me for several years named Rody Morales, working with the LAPD, telling everyone that I had killed someone for some reason, and at the same time, Rody Morales trying to plant a trash bag full of marijuana on me, and this was before marijuana was legalized. You can kind of understand what's going on. Rody gets the bag in my house with the LAPD. They say Kevin's a drug dealer, and they arrest me and lock me away forever, right? Okay, so these things, I have on video 4 police break-in attempts, trying to lock the doors and things like this, trying to break in, trying to plant things on me, trying to get whatever they can use against me. For unfathomable, unknown reasons. They're literally telling the world that I'm the next UnaBomber, the next Vegas shooter, the Lead Officer Sean Dinse's latest operations are to state that I've now supposedly threatened to kill all Starbucks customers, working with people like my father and Victoria Walker. Another one of their scams is my father telling Paul Humphrey to tell me that he wants to see my father's 357 when we were 16, which didn't work, and things like that. Later on, my father with the LAPD putting bullet holes in his 300E Mercedes to say I did it, even though I was the one that showed him it. Making up lies that I took his 357, which supposedly his friend Bruce Simon gave him or something like this. I don't know. He took me to the shooting range once with it. Now these things get freakier because they link to all these psychological scams or falsified accusations with the government judicial system psychology community to try to make me look crazy starting at 5 years old, and the gun actually links to my father taking me to see the movie Wizards by Ralph Bakshi at 5 years old, trying to then, my brother playing the evil wizard, so to speak, trying to make it look like I conform to media. Now you're going to say, Kevin, how do you know that? That's pretty thin, right? And it is, except the problem is that it keeps switching and changing from movie to movie and having conversations with people who are my friends and family, mimicking things out of movies to try to flip me out, and then running around saying I have no grasp on reality or I'm stable. Or other things like when I was 16, painting a picture of Black Wolf from the movie, not knowing what they were involved in doing to my life, and giving it to Patty Guggen, or actually I sketched that picture, and then I painted a Grateful Dead picture of a cowboy holding a gun, and Patty Guggen says, "You better not show that to your father," with an angry voice. And I'm like, did I totally miss something, right? Like, why would my father care if I paint a picture of a Grateful Dead skull with a cowboy hat pointing a gun? But it turns out my father and the rest of my family are paranoid psychotics and pathological liars, and everything they do is calculated and demented and always involves how can we discredit our son Kevin, try to set him up, try to frame him, try to make him look crazy, things like this. Okay, so now that you understand that out of 6 attempts, I think 4 on video with the LAPD trying to break in my house, trying to cover it up. More importantly, trying to cover it up because at Southern Oregon State College I asked Kelly Hatch if I could borrow an X-Acto knife to cut out a plexiglass plate to mount a stereo in the, I don't know, there's like a whole 1 or 2 DIN thing, and back then you had to cut out the plate, and I was mounting a stereo in a dorm parking lot, and I knew she had a bunch of tools, and she says, yeah, go in my room and borrow it. So I go into her room, she gives me permission, I go in her room, I borrow it, and then after that, for some strange reason, she says that I broke in her room with the police. She also tells the police I stole her white Jeep Cherokee, right? I didn't know back then that she was actually sent after me, told to follow me up from Calabasas High, Southern Oregon State College. I thought it was a coincidence, right? Oh, you look really familiar, and I didn't know who Kelly Hatch. I had zero communication with Kelly Hatch in high school. I wasn't friends with her. I wasn't friends with anyone in our clique. She just kind of looked kind of familiar in the dorms where she was put above me. Told to hunt me and stalk me with the LAPD or police and government. After that, after I moved out of the dorms, they had people move into my house that were pretending to be people looking for rooms, which were all trying to collect anything to use against me. And this goes on from house to house, place to place, setup operations, frame job operations, you name it, which they're trying to cover up. Okay, so anyways, to make a long story short, they finally, after 45 years, got these falsified arrests with Lead Officer Sean Dinse, Officer Jensen, Officer Toro. If you ever take a picture of a person, I'll exercise the law in my own way. They didn't want me creating any type of art. They didn't want me having a camera because anything that gets on the camera, even though I'm just creating art, will be accessories to attempted murder or to rid me of the world in one of the largest crimes known to man. And so Dinse is adamantly running around saying, I want a search warrant, I want to get in his house. So if you've seen the things that my father has done, trying to plant things on me, sending Rody Morales after me, trying to plant bags of marijuana to try to make me look like a drug dealer 18 years ago, you understand why Dinse really wants to get in my house. It's not because I have something to hide. It's because they're trying to cover up one of the largest crimes known to man in the history of humanity. So what I'm going to do, even though they've got their falsified convictions with jury tamper jury, paid off judges, falsified discovery, lawyers paid off to not help me and leave out anything important in the trials while harassing me and trying to set me up, things like that. I'm going to show you, I'm going to walk through. We have a progress hearing in a couple days, which is at the end of the summary probation, and Dinse is now claiming, because he realizes that his first lies couldn't stick enough to lock me away forever, which they flat out said in the judicial system, we want to incarcerate him for life. Strange. For what? For being a really good person? Doesn't make sense, because there's no actual crime or crime scene on some of their indirect accusations, like I've supposedly killed someone, but yet there's no body or crime scene or anything like that. It's just, I don't like you or trust you, and I think you might have done something wrong, so I'm going to hunt you. Just like Officer Toro, if you ever take a picture of a person, I will exercise the law in my own way. Okay, so anyways, my father wants to get in my house so bad. The judicial system wants to get in every single one of my houses with my father. They want to plant things on me. They want to try to see what they can get to use against me. So let's go into my house. So let's do a video of my house. And sorry if I get really sarcastic. When you're dealing with the absurdity of a worldwide eradication campaign to exterminate you for reasons like, well, when you were 5 you farted wrong, you had long hair in high school, you broke the speed limit, you peeled out in your car, you're a public nuisance because you were building cars instead of being given BMWs. I don't know, it doesn't make any sense. So the entire situation, even though it's a worldwide extermination operation with this psychology community judicial system based on psychological flagging at 5 years old, and then hunt and kill operations or eradication operations to cover up, what they're doing is demented and unheard of it as it is with worldwide support now. It is absurd because the accusations are so stupid they don't even make any sense, right? And you'd have to be a complete invalid, retarded 10-year-old moron to not comprehend the basic common sense of the situation. So that's why it's absurd. Okay, so now let's go into my house, and I'm gonna go and show you my house. Now remember, you might say, hey Kevin, this is a very messy, hoardy house, this is a very manly house, there's lots of computers and cables and clumps of crap or whatever. And some of you, if you're like a complete perfectionist, if like a cat hair falls on the ground and you flip out and your life is over, you might not be able to deal with this, but I can assure you that I'm probably living better than, let's say, 30 or 40% of the world. I don't know, maybe less, but still you get the idea. When Dinse wants to try to get in my house with my father to try to make it look like I'm a crazy man who can't take care of myself, have memory problems and thought problems, and has OCD, and is crazy, and is a violent paranoid schizo. Out of there hundreds of psychological labels which change every day, I'm also supposedly a violent paranoid schizo with OCD and memory problems, and I can't take care of myself. Trying to, as Dinse states on his Facebook account, how do we force people into mental institutions? And I'll throw in the little in between the lines, how do we force people in mental institutions I just don't like, accept, or are different than me, which actually link up to government extermination operations. But remember, to force someone into a mental institution is the crime of all crimes. They've been trying to force me into a mental institution since 5 years old. You don't try to make people look crazy to force someone into a mental institution, also known as gaslighting or gang stalking. Those are also murder or rid you of the world operations, starting at 5. These aren't things that police officers normally do. So you have to question, being that I've been in front of the White House of the United States of America with policeabuse.com, ex-police sergeant Kamau Diop, proving that White House security flipped out and started following me around the city for simply walking in the tourist area with all the other tourists for 10 minutes, showing this is not some crazy man who just came up with a theory like they're trying to cover up. Literally, we went all across the U.S. with policeabuse.com to prove that everywhere I went, people knew me and were angry, right? But won't talk about the situation. Okay, showing that I'm somehow the enemy of the state for things that don't matter. Well, you turn 16 and you build cars. How dare you? 16-year-olds in Calabasas aren't allowed to build cars. You got into photography with women on green screen. You got into studio photography. You were building adult website and adult website systems, which is perfectly legal. You're not committing any crimes. You're not doing anything differently than anyone else, but they're mad at me. But the billions of people who, for example, the adult industry. Billions of women posting naked pictures on Twitter, Instagram, whatever, the police don't care about, but the guy that builds some adult website starts building adult or studio photography on green screen with women needs to be hunted and eradicated for crimes. Doesn't make any sense. Yet Dinse and the entire police force with private investigators, you name it, security companies, all working together trying to get whatever they can to use against me to attack my credibility, whether it's a psychological credibility or it's a record, he's a criminal because of this, that, blah, 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 trying to fabricate whatever they can, hence having Rody Morales try to plant a trash bag full of marijuana on me, working with my own father. Now remember, side note, my father's trying to look like a really good, clean orthopedic surgeon who hires people like Lorena Escobar to hunt down and kill or eradicate his son because his son could be like a Paris Hilton, I'm trying to look good father, and the son's out doing a little more aggressive, open-minded things which aren't illegal, and so the father, because I want to look like a really good orthopedic surgeon, I'm going to off my son type of thing, right? Also, my father, friends with people like David Greenstein, a lawyer who goes into restaurants with service dogs and tries to set them up to sue them, right? You get the idea. He's not a good guy. Okay, so that being said, let's go into the house. I apologize if I get really comical and sarcastic because the absurdity of the situation is kind of like the movie Idiocracy, and it doesn't make any sense. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so down here in I think 13 or 14, or maybe it's 12 or 13, I'm not sure, is one of the complexes where they filmed a porno with a porn star in the mid-90s when I was off in Colorado with a porn star, Blake Mitchell, which is one of the paranoid tactics, or the tactics that try to make me look like a paranoid schizo to say I'm stalking strippers and I'm crazy, or stalking porn stars and I'm crazy, and things like that. Working with Rody Morales, Tom Farley, Val Morozov, Eric Christensen. These are all the people I'm talking about are spread from state to state, all wanting to take me to strip clubs to set me up and frame me. all linked to, now remember, my father's real estate agent found me this property, so you can understand how these operations are all sort of strategically, I'm framed, right? Okay, so now first we're going to go into the patio. I know it's not the neatest, nicest, feminine patio with lots of pretty flowers and little fluffy incense and little hangy nectar things or whatever. You know, it's more manly. Okay, so as we go in, you can see the chairs, and you can see a squirrel took a big old, they keep eating my chair padding, I don't know why, and I'm sure Dinse's running around saying Kevin can't take care of himself with my father because a squirrel's eating the padding out of my chair or something like that. You know, this is the level of absurdity and the desperation the police and government, NSA, FBI are going to try to rid me of the world for what I know. Now, more importantly, we have our, apparently, Route 666. I am part of the devil's domain, or I live in the devil's domicile, and because I have this horrible, mean, aggressive, crazy, comical sign, the LAPD are running around going, this guy's crazy, and he's advertising it, and it's a confession of crimes, and this and that. Of course, ironically, I got the sign way after their accusations that I'm a horrible monster at 29 with Mike Huntley and I need to be rid of the world as a sarcastic joke against their, you're a horrible mean monster for picking your nose wrong and you need to be rid of the world, right? So I think we can all agree that this little joking sign is not going to launch a worldwide campaign to kill you with people running around in chaos going, oh my god, your sign is a devil sign and you're a devil worshiper and you need to be removed from society, right? Okay, so that doesn't really make much sense. But they actually are trying to collect every intricate detail to use against me. Here is a security cam Karine T. Phillips is so mad about in the courtroom, prosecutor with everyone else, because it's capturing people trying to break on my property like Dinse and many other police officers working with him and my father trying to, is the door locked, right? I want to go in his house without his permission. I want to go in his house while he's asleep in police uniforms to try to, so something really bad happens to me and then they try to set me up and frame me and lock me away, right? Nobody's going to get mad at anyone for having security cameras in their house or store or wherever else. Okay. So anyways, I think, you know, not very exciting here. We have our little angel. So now you can say, oh my god, Kevin has an angel and he has a 666. So now I must be bipolar, right? Or maybe I'm schizo. I must keep switching from one personality to the next because I personally don't take these things as a literal. I think they're just little fun items, but my family's pretty insane, and anything like a joking shirt, it will result in you're hunted, killed, death, tortured, and killed. And when I say that, I'm not joking around while the rest of the world is out living their lives and nobody cares about things like that. I'm literally being hunted by the psychology community, police, and government over things that don't matter and nobody cares about. Okay, so let's now go in, because they're trying to force me into a mental institution with every lie, fabrication, setup, frame job, you name it. As we go in, it's a little messy, it's a little manly, it's not female. I'm sure if I had a wife or girlfriend, she would convert me over. And it's a little hoardy. Okay, so we are now in the lair of the devil, the devil's domicile. We are in the lair. Let's get some lighting. Remember, they have a problem with me and lights. Okay, so I guess we'll start with the bathroom. Now, you know, it's not the neatest. I can't really afford a mansion. So I got cables and crap and computer crap everywhere. I do computers, I do technology and whatever. And I'm also an artist. And so, so we'll start with the bathroom here, and we'll go in, and now I know this is scary. This isn't a This isn't a $5 million house. You know, it's a cheesy... I bought it for $140,000. Okay, so a $140,000 crappy bathroom. You know, not too exciting. Okay, so we're in our $140,000 crappy bathroom. Hi, there's me. I'm seeing myself. Now, I'm sure everyone's probably making jokes about the mirror because my family's running around saying I'm a crazy man who can't see myself, and we have to mimic everything you do from person to person worldwide until we can drive you into a mental institution. Okay, so we got the big old throne here, you know, not super clean. Like when you're watching that, the cleaning commercials and the little sparkle, ding, you're not getting that when I video that, ding. Okay, so, you know, it's a little manly here. I could use a little cleaning on that one, let me tell you. So, I might need to be removed from society for that. Okay, so as we come out of the bathroom, you know, this is my hoard, my little hoardy place, and we have a weight bench, which I don't really use too much, which I really should to stay healthy, but ironically, my family and police and government got mad at me for going to the gym 4 days a week with my stepfather Arnold Silver hinting that it's OCD because I keep going to the gym over and over 4 days a week. And it's unheard of that someone might go to the gym 4 days a week, and that's unhealthy for you. Well, I've never heard of a situation where someone told you that going to the gym was unhealthy for you unless they wanted to kind of eradicate you. Now the bike, they also got mad that I was riding around on a bike getting exercise, and they were also mad that it's green and black. Okay, if that isn't strange, I don't know what is. Okay, so, you know, I have some weights. I got a lot of this off Craigslist and eBay, whatever. My little exercise ball to try to stay in shape. We have the bar. Now my family, it's a little cluttered, you know, it's manly cluttered, you know. If I was a chick, I'm sure I'd have little pretty butterfly things hanging and little incense and all that. Oh, we have Sylvia. Hi, Sylvia. My little tiger, Sylvia. Hey, girl. Okay, so here's Sylvia. She likes to take walks with me. She runs up and says, Kevin, walk me, and we walk. And my mom thought I was lying to her and I'm crazy until I had to actually go put up a video on YouTube to prove to the world that I'm not crazy. And yeah, I have a cat that walks around, but once again, you're probably questioning, why would that go worldwide? Why can't I simply have a conversation without it being used against me since 5 years old? Okay, so now, this is the bar. You know, my family has a problem with me drinking anything as well, playing this game that I have an addictive personality disorder. I know it's cluttered and this and that, whatever, you know, and so if Dinse wants to say that I need to put in a mental institution because of the clutter on this bar, that would be strange to me. I mean, I think a 10-year-old would be like, what the hell is this cop's problem? He's a murderer. Okay, now remember, it goes from cop to cop, though, not just one cop. Okay, so now we have the computer area. Now it's really going to get messy because everything I do is with computers. You know, I do IT, I do photography with computer animation. I used to do computer animation, visual effects, you name it. What else? Oh, .NET programming, SQL database programming, you name it. And so, okay, so, anyways, a side note, a bus stop poster purchased off eBay, Finding Nemo, and they're mad with their little sharking and shark scam. Kevin's a shark, and Kevin tries to shark people because I used to play a lot of pool, and they got mad at me for playing pool, too. Which is strange because I played too much pool, and too much pool means you need to be rid of the world and locked away. And being social with people at pool halls is a bad thing because pool hall players can be shady. Well, if you're living in a movie like The Hustler or Color of Money, maybe. But here in Earth and reality world, pool halls aren't shady unless it's a little crap hole and whatever. And when I was playing pool, it wasn't for any money. And most of the time it was straight pool and with friendly people and whatever, which turned out they weren't very friendly because they were being approached, told to hunt me by people in the psychology community. Okay, so that was the side note. Okay, so now we're headed towards the computer area. Okay, now this is really messy. I should be hunted, shot, killed. The law needs to be exercised in its own way to lock me into mental institutions. We have a monitor here in case I work on something. There's my old pool cue, by the way. Haven't even touched it in a good 10 or 15, maybe 10 years or whatever, probably longer. Some VR equipment. A really useful HP LaserJet color printer, which I can scan and document the mass all day and night 24/7 attacks to archive, showing that I'm under full-scale attack with the judicial system and psychology community trying to lock me away. This is a bird's nest nightmare here with some NAS storage used. Anyone in the right mind, I mean, you can buy a NAS from $100 to $10,000, and I would say, you know, anyone into technology that has a good technology background with computers, the average person, let's say a good 80% has a NAS, a network attached storage, because all of your important data goes onto the NAS as a central storage location. If you're a book writer, your paper's going to go on the RAID NAS array to protect the data. If you're any business in the world's going to have a RAID 10, 5, 1, RAID 5 redundant data, or now more importantly RAID 10s, to keep your data safe for drive failure. I don't care if you're an animation firm, you're a bank, you're a book writer, it doesn't matter. Almost everyone in the world who wants their data safe has these. For me, it is for storage of all my documents and my artwork and my photography and anything that I'm working on. Because as you're looking at my computer monitor, one of these 3D projects for me usually could be upwards of 50 to 100 gigs of data on the work files. And maybe the final product, I can delete all the junk, but you get the idea. You don't want to lose that data. So it goes on a central hard drive array. It is saved. It has multiple drives in case one just goes bad. And more importantly, you can use it on any computer in the house without having to copy files from place to place. And what I'm telling you, 80% of the world already knows, especially if you're semi-computer savvy. Okay, so over here we have more hoardy crap, and I don't know where to put all this crap because this place is only 1,500 square feet. So you get the idea, right? Our little 4-foot by 2-foot hoard over here. Something I'm sure Sean Dinse will say, I need to be removed from society with my family and my father and my stepfather and probably my mother, so that I can have a good life, because these things are unheard of. Okay, so now here we have, and yes, I know the wiring is a complete nightmare. I mean, a chick would freak out, totally. So I probably need a good chick to organize this shit, because that's what generally happens, is men don't usually organize this crap unless they're probably gay. And that's a joke. I hope everyone understands that that's a joke. Most men really are, you know, meat and potatoes, and chicks are usually the cleaners or whatever. Okay, so we have a lava lamp, a really big lava lamp I need to fix. For some reason, everyone got mad at my plasma ball here. I don't know why you would care that someone owns an old 70s plasma ball, whatever. I think it gives me a little mood or ambiance when I'm creating art. We got Necron 99, which I am sculpting for a bigger project I'm doing, a little art project. Why aren't we... Okay, so we got Necron 99 here. I'm sculpting for an art project. This is an older project, Bear in the City. you know, whatever. So you see that these are all things that makes my family and Dinse mad, and I can't understand why anyone would be mad about that. Now also, let's talk about, even though it's a little off topic, the types of hardware I need to use to create art, because everyone thinks, oh, you just, oh, hey, zippity-doo, you create art. Okay, so in this box here, I have, it's an older Xeon. It's fairly outdated Xeon. It's, I think, 18 cores. 18 core older Xeon chip, and a newer 2080 Ti NVIDIA card, and 2 Titan, I think, XPs. I think that's what they are. All for the stream rendering and the polygon counts of the sculpting or whatever. Where it's really not enough is for the stream rendering with the volumetrics and things like that, or the particle systems. But you know, we're not a production firm here. We're just some guy creating some art. Also, I want to stick with the Necron 99 here, even though it's off topic, because the judicial system in my family and father will try to use it against me. It has nothing to do with me being a violent paranoid schizo who thinks he's in the movie Wizards. It has to do with me creating some fun art with Necron on his horsey, and the first plate test I did is Necron standing on the Leo Creo, right, on his horse, sitting. I'm still working on him and the horse, and we'll probably do Black Wolf too, whatever. And then my family will get mad that I'm somehow ruining their lives and I'm a violent paranoid schizo with the judicial system and police, reaffirming the fact that they want to lock me away for no reason at all. Okay, so then here we have a tablet, which is a cheapo. It's a cheapo non-Wacom tablet, which, hold on, there we go. It's a cheapo drawing tablet, 22 inch. I would really like the new Wacom 32 with the you know, the pro crap, the really good prep. And this screen's really crappy. It's the brightness of the screen really makes it hard to work, and it's a 1080, which I'm used to working in 4K for the details. But you know, it gets a lot of things done. It's just not it's not ergonomically how, you know, you use newer things and technology slows and things get better and whatever. And so when you're using the latest, you're more productive, right? It's not about having the best, as my family would say. It's about productivity and getting the job done fast, efficiently, and correctly. But my family's thought process is always, you need the best, and they have no concept, because they were born in like 1920 or something, and have no concept of how things, when you're working in such high detail and complexity, you need good tools to do that, right? Okay, so anyways, we have some VR equipment and some lighting for cameras and videoing myself or whatever, and we have a kid eating. Okay, so now I'm sure you're looking at this so far going, Kevin's a criminal and a murderer, and he's like Kevin in the movie Split. And this is the Horde. This is the Horde for everyone. And there is once again my eBay purchased Nemo picture. Okay, so now we come to the kitchen area where my cat Sylvia is dining, the name they gave her at the shelter I saved her from. And you know, it's not a very exciting kitchen. It's not my mansion in San Francisco in Tiburon or anything, but you know, it's home, even though they don't want me living here or anywhere else in the world. They want me in a mental institution, which is strange. Okay, so, you know, and there's my coffee, and coffee machine, which they're telling me I'm not allowed to go to any coffee shop in the world. They'll hunt me down and eradicate me, kill me, lock me away with endless physical attacks, mental attacks, death threats, police death threats, you name it. Because I'm not allowed to go to coffee shops, be social, meet people, have friends, relationships, make money, or anything else. Okay, which is pretty strange. Okay, so now we're gonna go to the den area. Here's the sign they're so mad about, which, you know, you don't have to look at the sign. You don't have to stare at the sign. You can actually go out and live your life and go whatever. Okay, so, you know, we got more horde clutter here. We got our little Wi-Fi access point. Ironically, a little tidbit is when I started seeing therapist Brittany Henderson, the neighbors put on their access point Brittany, which I showed Brittany. Our TV. We're coming to more guy, man clutter. Right, here's our manly clutter. I'm sure Dinse is looking for anything to use against me to eradicate me. Old stereo. I think I even have an old DVD player, which is never used anymore. Okay, we got our little chair and AC unit and, you know, whatever. And I know it's horrible, right? It's totally non-level. My father would say, Kevin, how do you live like this? How do you live like you do? And he said that to me a few times. It's like, well, you know, I can't afford my $10 million, $20 million mansion and servants, so, you know, I manage here in this horrible, miserable horde of whatever. Now, it is a little crowded, I'll give you that. Okay, so now let's kind of cruise. Oh, and ironically, above the unicorn here, we have the Pearl Harbor eBay purchased bus stop poster. And ironically, I didn't, when I bought this in the early, maybe 34 years old, I didn't put the connection together about what my brother was doing with my last name, Perelman, when I was 14 years old and they took me on the Caribbean cruise, hinting about Pearl Harbor and Perelman and Asians, while my brother kept drinking B-52s and kamikazes with Darren Moselle and shoveling me them. And then my brother went out and purchased a Kershaw knife, and then he said, Kevin, here's a knife. Well, they got me drunker and drunker with these hidden World War II messages on a Caribbean cruise in hopes that he could get me to flip out and go after him, which he failed. And remember, these tactics that I'm talking about like that have gone on pretty much all day and night for 42 years, and I didn't know they were going on up until 29 with Mike Huntley. We're using the system against you. We're going to rid you of the world with the police and government and psychology community. That wasn't his exact words, but with all the things that I explained in the other videos, with his, I've given you enough rope to hang yourself with, dropping papers of how to make people, Koreans, mentally ill, to control them, walking around singing World of Paranoia, saying have a good life now, the endless death threats, the things he was doing with Bob Sandler, Tom Farley, Paul Humphrey, you name it, are all directly related, which the LAPD, police worldwide, NSA, FBI, government are all trying to cover up in psychological flagging and kill or eradication operations, and they started in on me at 5 years old. So once again, we have a little technical 2 foot by 4 foot horde over here of, as my grandfather would say, tchotchkes, computer tchotchkes that probably should be sold or go to Goodwill or whatever. Okay, so now let's go upstairs and you know, check out where all the, I guess I probably store all the bodies. I probably store all the bodies, according to Sean Dinse, Officer Toro, Officer Jensen, my father, my brother, my mother, Jen Pilchick, Greg Wall, whatever. You know, Greg, I don't know whose side you're on, Greg, because you didn't want to do an interview about my brother coming after me with a crowbar that they're saying it never happened and I suffered delusional disorders. Okay, so if you want kind of a broad overview of this horde, this unlivable, unmanageable, unrepairable horde, here we go. You know, I will be the first to tell you that this place could be a lot neater, but I don't really think that this is the type of thing that they put people in mental institutions. I mean, I think this is probably 40% better than the average lifestyle out there, especially downtown LA and things like that or whatever. Okay, so here we go. Well, Dinse wants to come in here and try to find weapons and things like that. That I'm out trying to kill all Starbucks customers, as he complain or is saying, and I'm the next Vegas shooter, which, where does that even come from? Well, that's interesting. We need to talk about that. And I really think that Dinse should be sat down and with someone and that elaborated on as how the nicest guy in the world, who's helping everyone on his path and out living his life and making money and helping everyone else make money, is being hunted for no reason at all with demented theories from nut jobs, skinhead nut jobs like Lead Officer Sean Dinse, linking in the police officer after police officer my entire life for crimes of breaking the speed limit and maybe getting a speeding ticket. I don't know. Okay, so now this room is really messy. This is kind of the photography / storage room, and right, I got a lot of crap. I got my telescope with my electronic mount and things like that I don't use anymore for astrophotography. I got my lens arsenal. Yes, I was the one that came up with lens arsenal, which is now used worldwide for things like that, which I'm told I'm imagining. Okay, so here's my telescope, my lens arsenal, a lot of older Canon gear, now switched over to Sony. We got a drone I never really got into using because of the amount of attacks with worldwide groups. We got a lot of crap. As you can see, my green screen, which my family got so mad about with the strobes and doing studio photography with people, making up every lie smear. I'm a fraud, I'm trying to meet women, I'm doing it to try to meet women, I'm a fraud, I'm this, I'm that, I'm a murderer, I've killed someone. Aubrey Fisher sent after me with Rody Morales and the LAPD to hunt me down. Rody Morales wanted me to go to strip clubs to set me up, frame me, to hunt me down. Then I get into studio photography. Aubrey Fisher comes in, hunting me, stalking me, notifying everyone worldwide off modelmayhem.com to hunt me and stalk me to make sure I don't get into studio photography. And while I have tons of really good, unique, artistic content I created from photo shoots, all that is ignored while they pretend that I'm just trying to meet women, even though one single photo of mine might take somewhere between 30 to 100 hours while people are just rattling off sets of shots and nobody could care less, right? And, hey lady, take off your clothes, and they do 100, like, thousands of shots and that's it, and that's okay. But if I do a few shots or even several hundred poses, which isn't much in the photography world, and then I spend 100 hours on one photo, that's all discounted, and I'm just trying to meet women to instantly stop me from ever getting into photography with every lie, smear, setup, frame jobs, which all link to my father, Ron Perelman, and Arnold Silver, and my family not wanting me to get into studio photography like every single thing else, and they want to lock me away in a jail cell and mental institution for the crimes of getting into studio photography because there's good-looking women which they feel could endanger their careers, which is based on paranoia and fear, making them paranoid psychotics. Also, while all these photographers are doing nude photo shoots, and nobody could care less, all of my photo shoots, all the models are pretty much clothed, which you could see at kevinperlmanphotography.com. There's nothing so far out there that would make anyone angry. It's just kind of unique art with green screen and kind of fantasy shots or whatever that are fairly original ideas. So it's not the type of thing that anyone would really even be running around going, oh my god, except there's good looking women in the shots. Okay, so now I have all my more horde crap here, tons of chargers and camera crap. So I probably need to be locked away in a mental institution for that. And telescope guidance systems right there. Okay, so now I got my tons of prop crap, right? Because if you're doing studio shoots, you got to have thematic, unique things. And obviously with the green screen, I design a lot of the 3D animation to go with the pose and the wardrobe and the props, right? So, you know, whatever. We have, oh, this is, you know, whatever. The gangster suit, right? So I'm a schizo because I have the gangster suit there. Okay, so then we have the computer, which you probably don't need so much anymore, but, you know, when you do the studio shoot, the camera photos go to the computer, and the subject can see what's on the computer, and you can transfer them faster and things like that. Okay, just, you know, lighting and strobes and crap and things like that, right? Okay, so this used to be a second bedroom, obviously, where Jeff Siegel sent after me, who followed me from University of Colorado, sent after me, wanted to be my roommate, working on me with these mental illness tactics and things like that. And he thought it was funny at 29 when I started finding out what was going on, and was kind of freaked out, and showing his true colors, what he was involved in, and then, you know, the things he said afterwards, that this guy's intent to begin with was to stalk, hunt, follow, have me drive his crap home from Dallas, working all sorts of angles and things like that with Texas, and Tom Farley and things like that. So then, whatever, this was his bathroom over here, and he kind of fucked up the floor a little, which is easily repairable. It's just linoleum, you know, whatever. And not too exciting. I'm not making my billions of dollars, so you know, this is my house that Dinse, the LAPD, my father, wants to break into so bad to try to figure out how to put me into mental institutions. And their latest is I might have a weapon in a next Vegas shooter, which is now I supposedly threatened to kill all Starbucks customers. Okay, so now we're going into the, I guess you'd call it the master bedroom, my bedroom, whatever. It's not really a master bedroom. It's a little 1,500 square foot shithole, but, you know, it's better than a lot of crap out there, and it's worse than a lot of crap out there. But it's a roof over my head. Okay, so I guess we'll start by the bookshelf. I got rid of all the books. They were just kind of in the way. Oh, look, I actually still have a picture of my brother, which I should burn because he's an evil nut job. But there's Jason Perelman, who goes after people with crowbars and then hunts me down the rest of my life, saying, I think you might tell someone. Okay, so here's a candle. So according to Dinse, I must be a devil worshiper because I have a candle in my house. I'm sure it has nothing to do with blackouts. Okay, right, the inversion table, which this thing's really cool. Like, this really takes the pressure off your vertebrae. Like, you hang upside down, and I'm sure Dinse and crew are running around saying, I think I'm Batman, for flipping upside down. But if you've ever tried one of these things, they're really cool because it's like the old traction machines in physical therapy. Like, it takes the tension off your lower and upper vertebrae, and you're really like relaxed after that, and you feel like just refreshed, right? Because people who stand all day and the gravity's pushing down on their vertebrae, and then you get on one of these things like for 5 minutes, and you're like, oh my god, I feel like a whole new person, right? And you're jumping around. Okay, so I'm sure that'll be used against me because of how it looks, and it doesn't fit with the perfection, right? Okay, so anyways, we have a bedroom. Okay, so we have a bedroom. Not too exciting, with our little inversion table that I'm sure is some kind of evil. Because I have this, I'm probably the next Vegas shooter, or I'm going to kill all Starbucks customers, according to Dinse, because he has no concept of anything different than Nazi life of eradicating imperfection and spending 42 years trying to rid people of the world with mass groups. Okay, so, you know, not too exciting here. Remember, this is all a secret. I have something to hide because I'm planning to blow up the world, according to Dinse. Okay, so, whatever. Now we go to the bathroom. We have a messy closet. I guess you could say there's skeletons in the closet. Because, who doesn't have skeletons in the closet? Okay, and whatever. A horde crime here. I got 3 razors, not 1, but 3. Now, obviously, they all serve different purposes, but when you're dealing with ignorant, low-life stalkers with no education, they can't comprehend that this razor works different than this razor and this razor. Right, okay, so that's the type of people I'm dealing with, just pure moronic ignorance, like some invalid, retarded 10-year-old that can't comprehend anything. And then finally, the last thing, the bathroom, and there's a little, you know, this house was built in the 70s, so it's pretty worn. Once again, let's you know, if you're into taking craps, I guess. There you go, right? I mean, not too exciting. And a shower. And whatever, right? I mean, there's a little imperfection here, so I need to be put into a mental institution. And once again, there is this old man who has been hunted. Okay, so as you can see, I'm here, a 47-year-old man who is a danger to the entire planet, and now you can see what's in my house according to Lorena Escobar. It's what you're doing in your own home, showing that Lorena Escobar was paid off to hunt, stalk, kill me by my father, and my father paying off the LAPD to hunt, stalk, and kill me or eradicate me. What am I doing? Am I building an atomic bomb in here? Do I have 100,000 bazookas and tanks in here? Right? Okay. So the absurdity. Okay, so, you know, what am I doing? Well, you know, the bed covers aren't perfectly straight, so the world's in danger, right? Okay, so, and I have a little older massage chair thing, so the world's in danger. They really don't like these studio photography props. That's what really upsets them, right? For example, I went out and I rented a samurai Hollywood prop, which it doesn't matter if it's a real samurai or not. And then the entire planet, Los Angeles, every state was hunting me down. The guy's got a samurai in the privacy of his own home. Okay, well, you know, I was rented for 2 days, right? I mean, it was a rental. This was back in 2000 and... let me think. 2005, maybe? Okay, you went to a Hollywood rental shop, rented a samurai, had it in your house for 5 days for a photo shoot, and there's a worldwide campaign to rid you of the world going, you might have a weapon in your house or something. Well, first of all, you're allowed to own a samurai. You're allowed to go to a samurai shop and buy a samurai. You're just not allowed to slice people in half with it, right? Okay, so you get the idea that my family and the police and government, just like Kevin goes to the gym too much, which is impossible, is a danger to himself or others for going to the gym too much. They keep jumping from thing to thing. But without jumping too far off topic, I'm just giving you a broad overview of my house that my father is trying to pay off people with the LAPD like Rody Morales to plant trash bags full of marijuana before marijuana was legal. Back when I was 29, 2001, 2002, to eradicate me, and I can assure you, you don't think your son's a drug dealer if you have to send some guy after him to plant marijuana on him. You just don't like your son and you want to kill him or eradicate him. Okay, so now you've kind of seen the horde. You've seen this horrible craziness of a house and the atomic bombs I'm building to blow up football stadiums and the 100,000 bazookas and grenades. Right, you get the idea. A family that will say or do with the police and government anything, and I mean anything, to eradicate me and rid me of the world. And another thing I just kind of want to point out, which I can't tell you is related or not. I do live in 18, and it's been 18 years since I found out at 29 of these 42-year eradication operations with my family and their psychological abuse, trying to flip me out and get reactions with the police, government, and worldwide support to remove me from society and put me in mental institutions. Okay, so you're saying, wait, I don't see any atomic bombs or dead bodies or anything in the walls here, Kevin. I don't see any apparatuses unless that Tesla coil is running the world, right? Now it's this sign right here, my demonic devil's domicile sign here, that's making the entire planet hunt me down to eradicate me, because this sign is a confession that I'm the devil and I'm a demon. Now, did you see any demons coming out of the wall or anything, or any like poltergeist scenes here? Because I didn't, and I'm videoing. But I don't understand, how could this sign have Dinse running around saying this sign's a crime and I'm confessing that I'm a violent paranoid schizo and I'm killing people, and oh wait, but wasn't the sign, who knows, 2009 or something, and they started in on me at 2002 with Mike Huntley, but they really started me in going further and further back, you know, into high school and earlier and earlier, that I can trace literally back to 5 years old, right? So am I the violent paranoid schizo? Because I'm not afraid to go out and buy a harmless joke like this, or some fun shirt that says Lord's Gym that nobody could care less about. So, or are they the paranoid psychotics? So anyways, you've now seen in my house that Dinse is claiming that I'm the next UnaBomber. And I've supposedly threatened to kill all Starbucks customers. And I'm also, what was the other one? UnaBomber, Starbucks customers. Oh, I'm the next Vegas shooter. So I don't know how it keeps jumping from one thing to the next. All to try to get in my house to plant things on me, like they had Rody Morales plant trash bags full of marijuana on me and things like that when I was 29, or tried to, sorry, rephrase that. He tried to plant trash bags of marijuana on me, posing as a, who knows, 3 or 4 year friend, wanting to take me to strip clubs, working with mass groups and Victoria Walker on setup operations and frame jobs to try to lock me away and incarcerate me for life for the crimes of things like stopping my brother from bashing Gregoire's skull in with a crowbar at 16, which don't really make much sense why there's billions of dollars to lock me away. All linking back to government flagging and eradication operations that starts at 5 years old, and things that open up doors that Dinse, especially Dinse running for City Council District 12 on June 4th, showing he has a tie to politics, will go straight up to operations that the government does not want me talking or anyone else talking about.